Hey, thanks for checking out this week's video. Today I want to talk to you about the privileges that are only reserved for those who start. And if you want to find out, stick around. So, when you start, there's a certain advantage and special rights that you get purely because you started, and a lot of people thought about it, but they didn't start. And I really want to walk you through that today. So the first privilege that you get is the privilege of giving up. Stick with me. Stick with me. Stick with me. Think this through. If you start something, then you can give up. Giving up, by definition, is to resign or cease. How do you resign or cease from something that you have never started? So only those that start actually have the privilege to give up. So start something and get the privilege to give up. That wasn't supposed to be funny. That's actually true. Think about it. The second privilege that you can get is the privilege of relating. Relating, by definition, is to be bound by blood. Now, what that means is that you can be able to connect and to feel for people purely because you've been in the same situation before. And a lot of the times we misunderstand people and we don't really get to understand certain people because we just are not at their level. But when you start, you actually get the privilege to relate. When you start, you also get the privilege to actually learn from your mistakes. But you are going to make a couple of mistakes and a couple of hiccups along the journey. And those mistakes are going to carry lessons. And if you take a hold of those lessons and you use them to your advantage, you will realize that you would have grown so much more after the whole experience. So only those that start have the privilege to actually learn. And still in the same line of thought, when you start, you get the privilege to grow. Now, to grow by definition is to expand and to enlarge in all directions over a certain period of time. Now, that's interesting because the ability to actually move forward and to grow over a certain period of time only is reserved for those people that actually start something. If it's a spiritual goal, you can only get to it if you start. If it's a business goal, you can only get to it if you start. So there is just such a huge sense of urgency for you to start. Starting also allows you the privilege to actually say, I tried. I always say, I want to tell my grandchildren and my kids that at least I tried. And this has been my mentality in every single thing that I have started and every single thing that I've been involved in. I want to be able to tell the generation that comes after me that, hey, maybe I didn't make it, or maybe I didn't make it at the level that I intended to, but at least I tried. You also get the privilege to actually become a mentor to someone else, to walk with someone else along that very same journey, to equip them, to edify them, and to be able to replicate yourself in someone else and just watch them flourish right before your eyes. I promise you, this is one of the greatest gifts that I have personally seen when it comes to starting. And you also get to be a reference point. People can actually reference you for certain things and say, like so and so, this is how it's done, or like so and so, this is how it's not done. So whether they're referencing you from the point of view that you were a success, or whether they're referencing you from the point of view that you didn't really do so well, you can still become a reference point in their scenario and help them to be the best they can be. When you start, you get the privilege to become a voice for your particular discipline. So if you're a speaker and you're speaking about women, you get to become a voice and to add value and to contribute in that particular discipline. And being a voice is one of the things that is much needed in our generation. We need voices to rise up and be able to start tackling certain agendas in our generation. And if only you could become one of those voices. That's my hope for you. Someone once said, making mistakes is better than faking perfection. And I think a lot of people in our generation are not starting because they do not want to mess up this picture that is so perfect. Perfect because there is no trials. Perfect because they haven't attempted at anything significant. Perfect because they want this facade of perfection to remain untainted. But I hope that you're going to rise up above that, and that you're going to start, and that you're going to be vulnerable to failure but still be hopeful for success. And that's what I'm really wishing and hoping for you. And that's really honestly been the agenda behind many of the episodes that I've done, to provoke you to start. I'm hoping that you enjoyed this video and that it has sparked something inside of you. So my question is, I usually ask many people, what is it that you want to start? What are you doing to make sure that that idea actually becomes a reality? I promise you, you will never regret starting. Whether the outcome is a failure or the outcome is a great success, you owe it to yourself to start. Tell me, did you relate to this video? What are some of the privileges that I mentioned that you have personally experienced after starting something? I want to hear from you. Comment in the section below and let me know. Do you subscribe to our channel? Like the video. Press the thumbs up button at the bottom. That's it from the Teacher Show. See you next week. Bye.